Hi guys, and thank you for tuning in. Today marks a pivotal moment for me, an opportunity to share something I've poured my heart and soul into. It's not just about launching a product, it's about sharing a part of my journey with you. A journey towards creating something distinct and, I hope, valuable. For as long as I can remember, I've been fascinated by the potential to innovate within our community. This fascination drove me to ask, what can I create that offers something different? The answer to that question is what I'm excited to introduce to you today. And that is Voltara 70 amp, an electronic speed controller that I hope will stand out in its own right. Imagine a tool that offers more power and improved performance, yet acknowledges the real-world challenges we face. That's what Voltara is all about. It's not about being perfect or claiming to be the ultimate solution. It's about offering an alternative that brings something new to the table. This journey wasn't about achieving perfection, but about exploration and pushing boundaries in my own way. Developing Voltara was a series of trials, error, and a lot of learning. Along this journey, I've had the privilege of working with some amazing people, and with their invaluable contribution, helped me to shape Voltara into what it is today. It's a product born of pure passion for FPV. Now I invite you to explore what Voltara has to offer, and let's approach it with open minds and curiosity, and perhaps challenge the way we think about electronic speed controllers. This is Voltara. It's a pre-production run from the factory. As you can see, it's already been soldered because I had to do some tests before sending it to the store. And also here it's an unsoldered prototype one, which I did all by myself, as you've seen in the introduction video. The ESC itself will come in this very practical plastic box, which you can use afterwards to store bits and pieces. It will also come with the same cable that KISS Ultra flight controllers come with. And in the case, you will also find an electrolytic capacitor. Now, let's get down to the specifications of the ESC. Hardware-wise, size-wise, it's 40 by 39 millimeters. The absolute sizes, if we take the wings into consideration, the top and bottom wings, it's 40 by 42.8. It weighs 17 grams. The mounting is 30 by 30. Its official voltage rating is 3 to 8S. Absolute values are 5 volts to 40 volts. Obviously, absolute means that I am not recommending you to use it at that voltages. Current capabilities. It is called 70 amps, but it is actively limited at 80 amps. Current is a delicate subject in FPV, because if you go and take a 65 amp ESC, most of the time it will not be capable of putting out 4 times 65 amps. Current capability of Voltara is 80 amps for one motor output. That means that I did test with well above 100 amps per ESC output, and I also did tests with all 4 together and reached peaks of 280 amps. But when you go into those scenarios, you have to be very careful and be sure to have enough airflow passing over the ESC. It also comes from the factory with PCB nano coating, which is a hydrophobic coating, similar to conformal coating. This nano coating will help deal with splashes of water or grass or things like that. It will not help you fly in the rain, but for those scenarios, I do recommend using an acrylic conformal coating over the nano coating. Feature-wise, the signal input is only D-shot from 150 up to 2400, and my recommendation is to use always D-shot 2400. We have D-shot telemetry, which sends voltage, current, temperature, RPM, and milliamperes used. Voltara is plug and play with KISS Ultra flight controllers. That means that the cables, the pinning, and the software integration between the two of them is plug and play. Obviously, it works with any flight controllers providing D-shot signals. Talking about protections, there are 2 hardware overcurrent protections, and these protections are there for protecting the motor or ESC in case a short happens, or you pushed a motor that much where it became shorted inside the windings. On the softer side, we have current, temperature, blocked and stall motor protections, which are very beneficial when you crash or hit branches and stuff like that. Now, talking about settings that you can change on Voltara, with the help of Alex from KISS Ultra, we managed to do a plug-and-play solution for Voltara and KISS Ultra. And from my knowledge, this ESC is the first one in the world that uses Crossfire protocol to change settings and communicate with the flight controller. So when you connect this to an KISS Ultra, you have a lot of options from where you can change the settings. You can change settings from the KISS Ultra OSD, KISS Ultra GUI, where you have the OSD mirror. There is also KISS keychain configurator made by Alex, and obviously any Crossfire device that you have connected together with Ultra and Voltara. That means big Crossfire module, Lua scripts, and so on. Now for the actual settings that you can change on the ESC are current limit, which defaults at 80 amps and you can lower it. When this limit is tripped, throttle is reduced. Temperature limit defaults to 100 C. And the same reaction. When tripped, throttle is reduced. You also have two calibration options for voltage and current. The ESC comes already calibrated, but because resistors do have a margin of error, you could calibrate it if you are using the Voltara for something very specific like long range or stuff like that. Next setting is soft start. The motor starts slowly from 0 RPM and it is configurable to on and off. Next option, which is related to the previous one, is called soft ramp. And if soft start is on, motor speed will slowly ramp to the arming value. And it is the same configurable as on and off. Rotation direction, normal or reverse, configurable through any FC with DSHAT commands or KISS Ultra GUI as I mentioned before. And we have two other settings that you can change. Beeper volume, which defaults to 100 and you can change it from 0, which is silent, to 200. And beacon time, which can be set from 0, which is disabled, and 60 minutes. And the default value is disabled. And now, because I've talked about settings, I will take this opportunity to show you exactly what I mean by plug and play with KISS Ultra flight controllers. Now I will power up the ESC itself. As you can see, I'm right now in Ultra flight controller GUI. I hit connect, I select the port and I connect to it. Right. If I go to the ESC flasher, I'm welcome with a warning to remove propellers before starting ESC flashing. I'm not expecting anything wrong to happen, but I do recommend to take out the props, especially if you are using a LiPo while doing this. Right here you can see all 4 ESCs are detected. You can change the direction of it, and also you can flash the firmware by either select the remote firmware, which will download from the internet, or open a local firmware. If I select remote firmware, you immediately see that the Voltara ESC was detected. We only have one firmware version right now, because this one is the firmware that will be on the released ESC. And I can just download firmware and press flash firmware. The ESC itself went into bootloader and now starts receiving the new firmware. Now that the firmware was written successfully, the GUI tells us that flashing was complete, and for safety reasons communication with the Ultra flight controller was terminated. So now you need to unpower both of them and repower. Okay, so I repowered them. Now I hit connect. And all is good. If I go to ESC Flasher, all 4 ESCs were detected. Now let's try and look at the settings we talked about earlier. We go to the OSD Mirror tab. We press the menu button. And as you can see, we have here the Voltara setup menu. And you will hear a small, tiny beep coming from each motor. That means that each ESC was detected. We have 4 ESCs detected, and we can go on ESC 1 to see the settings. And as you can see, you have all the settings we talked about earlier. And for those that need debugging information, you have the context menu, where you can press these 3 little bars here. And you have factory reset, which will reset all the settings on the ESC to the factory ones. And you have a special information page where you can see some debug information, like the firmware version, hardware, bootloader, serial number, and DShot errors, overcurrents, and driver fault. Driver fault doesn't mean that the driver or ESC is bad, it just means that it received some extreme overcurrent or shorts, and you can see them here. As I've talked earlier, you can find the same settings on any Crossfire protocol capable device like a Lua script or TBS modules and stuff like that. So this is Voltara ESC. On the small pre-production batch, I managed to get 10 ESCs to be sold right after the release of the ESC. It will be online on KISS Ultra store, and you can find the link down in the description. And as soon as possible, I will have more ESCs for you guys. The next video will be about building a quad with Voltara and KISS Ultra and going through all the settings needed to go out, fly and enjoy. I know it's been a while since I did a technical video, but I've been very busy with designing and testing the Voltara 70 amp ESC, and I hope that you guys will enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope this was an interesting video. Bye.